Well, hey there guys, and good morning, afternoon or evening, wherever and whenever you are, and welcome back to another devlog for my currently in development indie game, Project Shard. If you don't remember, last time I went through, if I remember correctly, I was working on a switch in one of the rooms in the ruins here, but as you can see, I've pivoted slightly out of that now that that's done, and this is actually the last room I made, and it is basically an observatory that looks out onto the landscapes around Xperia. But what I want to show off is, so you can see here, the sound inside is relatively muffled. As you get closer to the holes in the windows, it gets louder obviously, and the rain is all in the background. But I did add in some code and some functionality so that as we step outside, it becomes the full rain effect, the audio gets louder, and the particles come to the foreground as well. I'm actually really quite proud of how I got this to work, and I'm looking forward to working on some potentially quite interesting level design that utilizes this to really add to the atmosphere of the scene. But either way, I'm kind of yapping on about this at this point. What I want to do today is start working on building out some more of the level, as you can see here. So normally there is some destructible blocks in this area here that actually set so that the sword cannot break them. You need a later upgrade to get through here. But once you have that upgrade and you can come on through, you can see that there's this cave. I have fallen. You can see that there's the cave over that way, as well as the terrain of the crash site again. And so basically, what this area is an area where you can loop around, and if you do drop down here like I just did, what I'm going to add is it so that you actually physically drop down into earlier sections of the crash site that you would have already gone through and visited before. So not really much progression based level design today, more just world building more than anything. But anyway, hopping out of here and getting back into the editor, what I'm going to do, I think, is a time lapse of me building out some of the very basic terrain for a couple of the rooms, maybe even just one of the rooms. I don't know. I'll see how I feel. And sort of going through my thought process as I go through it as to why I make certain things the way I do, if that makes sense. The next room is going to be a relatively large one, if I remember correctly, but not necessarily large like horizontally, like the switch room was, more large vertically. But either way, I'm going to hop into the editor and I'll get going with that, and I will see you guys when it is done. Let's do this. So guys, jumping right into the editor here, this is me in post-production talking to you because the holy lord, this took a long time to build all of this out, but I think it was worth it because I honestly think once you guys see the end product, at least I personally really like how it's turned out. But either way, as I was saying, what I'm going to try and do is talk you through a bit of the process of, I've already shown you before how I sort of decorate the rooms, but now I'm going to show you guys how I actually build out the terrain. First of all, since I wanted this room to sort of be a loop around so you could drop back down into this area, first off I had to redecorate a bit of this room, and by redecorate I mean remove a bunch of the decorations, which was a bit sad because I did put quite a bit of time into decorating this room, but I think honestly the game will be better for it because the sense of, I keep going on about this, but the sense of non-linearity, the sense that you can go wherever you want at any time, really improves from it. But basically I had an idea for this room, which is just that I wanted it to be initially it was just going to be a boring connector room, but I've recently thought of some ideas for it, which I won't spoil yet, but I still need to flesh them out a bit, but I will need some more art for them in a minute, which I will show you later, hopefully, if I remember. This video has been so long in the making, as you can tell from the date in this clip. it's really blurry for me right now, but if I can see, that's like September, so been a long time coming, this video. But like I said in the recent Hollow Knight, at least I hope it's still recent, Hollow Knight episode 3, I've been really ill lately. Been feeling a lot better now, so, you know, up to the task again. But as I was saying, what I want this room to be, or what I wanted this room to be now, is to have this little cave area that the player could go into, where there's going to be something in there. And I wanted to use this as well as another sort of tester, as well as to sort of show off a little bit the system I made, which I know it's not really that impressive, but I think it's cool. Of the rain and that becoming sort of lulled as you enter the cave areas. But what I ended up with is a cave area in the middle with this quite cool mountainous terrain, and then just some platforms to jump around it. But this acts as a connector room. This connects to 4 other rooms, I want to say. Yeah, there's 4 exits to it, which makes it 4 rooms. You can go, obviously it connects to the top, you can't really go back out that way. It connects to the left, but you can't go back into the fortress through the left, but you can stand just outside it. Which isn't actually something I originally planned for that room, but you know, plans change as you go along, new ideas pop up. You can connect down, which goes back just outside the fortress, to the room literally just before you enter it. Which I think is a nice thing, being able to drop down, being able to loot back, all of that. And then another room which will lead out into a cave, which will have some lore related stuff in it, as well as actually an upgrade, which may show you me working on that cave later. I might not, might keep the devlog to this one room, because this video is already 16 minutes long, and 13 of those minutes are a time lapse. Just so you are aware now, this time lapse is going on for a while when you're locked in here with me. But as you can see here, I'm putting up the right wall of it. A lot of this room is actually quite open space. I wanted to keep it quite open, but also quite cramped at the same time, if that makes sense, which I think I pulled off. Which, there's a lot of space to move around, but at the same time, it's obvious that this is some kind of ravine-ish sort of area. Like, this area has quite a few caves in it, and it goes up quite high. Compared to the rest of Xperia, this is actually one of the highest points on Xperia. It's not one of the highest points on the map, because the mountain area exists. That's probably going to be the highest point on the map. But to be fair, that's a mountain, so it should be expected, really. But yeah, here I've gone off topic again, but here I'm sort of working on this central peak sort of bit, and then here I come through and start working on some of the platforms that allow the player to climb back up alongside it. These did take a couple of renditions for them to look nice, but I do think I got them looking pretty nice, honestly. So, coming up through here, what I did was sort of, like I said, go through a couple of iterations of them, get some of these platforms, and they will not be floating forever. Something you might have noticed I like doing with all of the floating, well, quote-unquote floating platforms, is that I like sort of trying to add a little bit to the realism. Obviously, it's not going to look realistic. A, it's pixel art. B, it's 2D side-scroller. It's never going to look realistic. But I add to the sense of the verisimilitude, as my English teachers would say, of the game by having the background walls always, or I try to have the background walls at least connect up to any floating platform, so it looks like there's something in the background holding it up. It makes the world feel more 3D without it being 3D, if that makes sense. But speaking of the background walls, here's where I come on through and add a bunch of those in. So, come through here and adding the background walls down to this little bit of the ruins, which I actually think is a nice world building bit. Not necessarily, there will be some stuff here later, but not even necessarily due to like having lore related stuff there, just because it makes the world feel more connected to me, where the ruins aren't just like plonked there. There's like rooms around the ruins where you can like see them poking through the rocks. Like they've been here for a while, and they're kind of built around the terrain, to be honest. But either way,
Right, looking at the time on this clip was in October, I'm pretty sure. Like I said, it's really blurry, so I might be wrong, but this just shows how long this took me to do. Mainly because I was ill and didn't really have the time to spend as much time on Project Shard, unfortunately, which I'm actually really sad about, because this is just really... I dropped my duck. This is really comforting for me to get to work on this, and you know what, I have a lot of like ideas for it going forward, especially for this area that I'm really looking forward to getting to work implementing, and hopefully I should be able to just jump right back in. I mean, obviously time constraints still exist, but I really enjoy working on this project, and it's sort of become a comfort thing for me. So I've been really sort of just upset about the fact that I haven't been able to do that, really, to just spend my time working on it, because of the fact that I just haven't had the time. But either way, coming through here and adding in more background noise. As you can see, I had to take a bit of a break to had some homework I needed to do, unfortunately, because school exists. But coming through here, this is where I start connecting up some of the floating platforms. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, I do the other side as well. If I don't, make fun of me in the comments until I do it. But I'm pretty sure I did it already. But don't quote me on that. Like I said, make fun of me in the comments if I haven't. Please don't actually do that. But either way, yeah, I connect up some of these floating platforms here to both sides, and I really like how this area has started to come out. I don't think you see it in the time lapse, but I will show you guys afterwards. Hopefully I'll remember after recording this voiceover. I will show you guys afterwards how it ended up sort of coming out and looking. I'm really happy with how it's looking, actually. I have added a few decorations and stuff to it. Not many, because there's some other terrain-related things I need to do to the room first. But I have added another save station in here as well. Because I wanted to have them... There's 2 save stations scattered across the entirety of the map so far, which... I mean, the map is quite... I wouldn't call it big, but it's definitely not expansive, but... I feel like with save stations, I don't want to put them too often, but I don't want to like make it like looking for a save station is like looking for a drop of water in a desert, for example. I do want to make it so that, you know, they're often enough so that you can take breaks, like you can play a little bit if you don't have much time, but I do want to have them infrequent enough that it does have some semblance of challenge to it. But here you can see I'm expanding this polygon here, which is actually our rain collider. This basically tells the game that when the player's in it, it means they're outside. So if they're in it, rain. Yeah, and this is actually what got it working for me, to have the segments where you can go inside these caves and like the rain becomes muffled, some of the rain stops. Like I said, I really like how it's come out. I can't wait to show you guys. But either way, coming through here, I expanded the collider all through it, which was doing it a really inefficient way, because at first I really cared about having it perfectly, and then I can't remember what point it is. I think it's a point coming up where I realized, hey, this doesn't, I think it might be around here. Yeah, it's around here, but I'm like, yeah, this doesn't really need to be perfect, does it? Oh, no, never mind, gone back to making it perfect. Oh, no, here it is. I'm like, yeah, I can't be bothered to make this perfect, so I'm not going to, yip-de-doo. But either way, coming through here, I decided to actually add some more of the ruins around, because I figured this place was so close to the ruins, there'd probably be some chunks around here. And it also makes it have more sense why there's a save station here, because the save stations are sort of connected to the people. who made all of these ruins initially. So having them around makes it more connected to the lore, and yeah, just continuity, world building, all of that lovely jazz that I find incredibly difficult to do because I am not the best at storytelling. But I feel like I'm getting better as like sort of the more I work on this project, and I'm just kind of happy about that fact. I'm really enjoying this, as I've said multiple times. I'm hoping you guys are enjoying the little looks into this that I've been giving you, because I mean, hopefully you like what you see. Don't get excited, it's going to be a very long time till it's done, but yeah, hopefully you're enjoying it. Like I said, like I always say, in fact, if you have any feedback, feel free to drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think, any ideas you have for potential future like areas or enemies. I have most of like the area stuff sort of set in my mind, what it's roughly going to be. I've got a couple maps of the map that I have in mind, but I'm always open to anything new. Here I'm just sort of working on the back of the interior of the cave to make it dark like the other caves. Yeah, make it really make sense that, you know, you're inside. But with that, I think that's it. So I'll let you get back to present day me. So guys, hopping back here into the game, as you can see, I've done a bit more work adding some decorations around this room, as well as an extra save station here, which both makes it easier for me to test out this area, how I think it feels in the game itself. Also, this will actually be staying here, it's gonna just be a feature. But as you can see, I've got the feature working with the rain and the lighting changing as you enter or exit cave areas. And if I drop down here, you can see there are obviously the normal decorations for this area, but there are some new ones I've made from repurposing the ruins decorations and adding things like vines, mushrooms, shards of rocks hanging off of them to really cement the idea that the ruins have been here for so long that they've just been overgrown and taken back by the environment. But speaking of ruins decorations, there's this new statue down here, as well as some new tiles that I'm going to need to make the tile set for now, which is what I'm going to do next. So what I'm going to do is hop over into Sprite, and I will see you there. Okay guys, so hopping into Sprite, first of all what I need to do is get a basic tile going, and I'm thinking a colour like this, and then you can get some cracks going across it. Yeah, like this. So coming along through here, that needs to line up to there. Yeah, I'm liking how this is coming out. So, getting that as the basic tile, what I'm going to do then is increase this by another 16 pixels, because all of the tiles in this are 16 by 16. And I'm going to come on through, and what I'm working on here is basically a tile set of like crystals that have taken over the other tiles pretty much. So if I come through here, get some crystally bits, that's definitely the word you would use to describe it. And I'm actually going to need to import another piece of art to get some colours off of it. I'm gonna need... Where is it? It's not here. It's not here. It's not here. Here we are. Import. I'm gonna need this. I'm gonna need to make it more vibrant. So that color is gonna be there. That color can be there. There's more pink there, I think. And the purple can go there. So with the basic crystals in, or the basic colors at least, can go through and start adding in the tints and shades, which not gonna look the best, but you know, it works. So coming in here and adding one of those, and the red ones as well. So that can be, honestly, that can actually be the tile set. So if we export sprite sheet, and this is actually going to go into the downloads as the crystal tiles. So guys, as you can see, I've come over into this other program I use called Tile Setter. I've imported this crystal tiles artwork. I can build the borders for the tiles, and then I should just be able to add them on all the edges. And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna need to fix all of the art back in a sprite, but I don't think this is too bad for like a crystal overgrowth. So what I'm going to do is select all of this, export it as an image back into here and go, actually no, go to documents, training in one, art, tile sets, crystal overgrowth, if I can spell, MK1. So with that exported, we can hop back into here. Oh, file, import from there. Tile sets, there we are. And I can go ahead and edit all of these. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and do just that, and I will see you all when it's done. So without further ado, let's do this. So guys, hopping back here into the game, if I come on down here to the cave area, you should be able to see, hopefully, the new tile set all set up inside the world. You might already be able to hear some of the ambient sound that plays around it, but this is the crystal overgrowth areas. I added a couple background decorations here as well, and if you step on the crystals, well, it doesn't quite end well. But as you can see, I've added those, and now there's only really one more thing I have to do for this room, other than some story related stuff. Sorry about that, my PC nearly crashed for a minute, I had to fix it. Other than some story related stuff, which I'm gonna keep secret for now, just so to avoid spoilers and stuff. The last thing I need to do is I want to create a couple new enemy types from here. One of them is a kind of lava-like bug thing, and the other is like a shooty bug thing. Yeah, those descriptions make perfect sense. But either way, what I'm gonna do is go right ahead and make the art for them, and when I have the art, I'm gonna hop back in here and start working on the enemy itself, like the AI or the code and that for it. So I'll see you when that's done. Let's do this. So guys, hopping back here into the editor, it's been quite a while since the last clip, but that's just because I spent
a lot longer than I should have. Making the art to start with for this guy, but also programming them, it took me way longer than I expected. But either way, hopping here into the game, first thing you might be able to notice is that the room here just feels more alive, just because it has enemies in it now. But you can see the new one down there already in the cave. So if I use the momentum from that guy to bounce on in, and you can probably hear the clicking from them. That is one there. They're called centravas. They just kind of sit on the ceiling of caves, but if you get too close to them, they will spit at you, and you don't want that to hit you because it will hurt. But you can hit it away with your sword if you want to. If you don't want to dodge it, you can just hit it. That does work. Or obviously it dissipates if it hits the ground as well. That, like, the little animation for it exploding when it hits the ground took me way longer to make than it really should have. But either way, if I hop out of the game itself here and hop into the scene, you can see that the code for it isn't necessarily that long. It was just, the only reason it took me a while to make it was mainly due to just things not working, having to get certain variables correct. Like here in the acid ball it shoots, trying to get this rotating downwards so you can really see it, but if I quickly show you here, if I run current scene, as the ball flies, it curves downwards with gravity. And so getting that to work took me some time, but overall I'm pretty happy with how this thing turned out. In fact, I'm very happy with how it turned out. But either way, that's probably going to be it for today's devlog. I managed to make this entire room, which again took longer than it really should have, but it might be a while until the next one because I want to really get into building out more of this tutorial area in the ruins. I don't really want to get too in depth into stuff that's going to be in there just because of, spoilers and stuff. So what I'm probably going to do is build it out before next time and then pick up building up the area after that, because I do have some things I want to show you that. But without further ado, if you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, do all of those things if you want to, and hopefully I'll have some nice stuff to show you for next time. But either way, that's it for me today. Bye bye.